Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Mythic Banter. I'm here with Accolonn, and we're going to be bringing you all the gaming discussion that you crave. My apologies for all of the missed episodes. Those were entirely and exclusively my fault. But how are you doing, Accolonn? Everything good?
I'm good, bro. Just look at you taking responsibility for everything. It's just like,
I have to.
Even though he was back, by the way, on Friday. Or wait, no, you couldn't do Friday, but you could do Thursday, and then I couldn't do Thursday.
It was weird, but it's mostly my fault because I haven't been able to make the time that we usually schedule. And even this episode is being recorded. Like, I have to once again thank Accolonn for being incredibly flexible, because even this episode, to give you guys an idea, we usually record Friday morning. This episode's being recorded Wednesday evening.
Yeah, because he literally messaged me like a few hours ago, and he was like, can we do it tomorrow? And I'm like, bro, I'm at church tomorrow. I'm doing a funeral thing. I can't do it tomorrow. And he's like, what about after?
What about now?
And I'm like, well, we have a public holiday tomorrow, so I'm not sure how long this funeral is going to take. He's like, oh, wow. And I'm like, wait, if you can't do it on Friday, I'll let you know. He's like, I can kind of do it on Friday, but what about now? I'm like, yeah, all right, fine, we can do it now.
It's like, so there might be an opportunity for me to go play some more Kill Team on Friday, and I'm addicted to Kill Team, and so I want to keep Friday as open as possible so that I can go play Kill Team, because I'm addicted to it. Kill Team is so much fun.
Hey, that's fair.
Like, let me tell you something. Like, you know how everybody likes online gaming, or at least a lot of people like online gaming, whether it's MMOs, Counter-Strike, MOBAs, whatever it happens to be. Imagine what it's like playing a MOBA in the face of the person that you are playing against. Like, straight in their face. Right?
So you can literally, you can call them
destroy
a moron to their face.
You can destroy them and see the joy go away.
Oh, dude, I know exactly what you're talking about. So I have a friend, one of our pastors at church. I go to his house like every Sunday or every other Sunday. We go and play board games.
Oh yeah,
and like I'm not talking Monopoly. I'm talking like Dead of Winter, Civilization. Lord of the Rings, proper board games. And in one of the board games we're playing, one of my brothers is making a move. And I'm looking at the move, and I just look at them and I go, you sure you want to do that? And you just see the panic, which is the most beautiful part, right? Because you just see, he did nothing wrong, just FYI. His move was
You're
perfect.
Just fucking with him.
Nothing wrong. But you just see him going, shit, what am I missing? I know I must be missing something. He wouldn't be saying that unless he has a big thing going on here.
Oh my God. Like I did something very similar to a friend of mine where we're starting the match, right? And usually when you're starting Kill Team and you deploy your team, you want to deploy them behind cover. Because if you don't deploy them behind cover, they're valid targets and they can be taken out on the first turn if you're not careful.
Oh, wow.
And so purposefully to fuck with my friend, what am I going to do? I grab one of my units, and it's not like an unimportant unit. It's like it's somewhat important unit. And I put him completely out in the open on one of the edges of the map. And then we start playing the game. And he's looking at that unit like suspicious. He's like, what's going on there? That's weird. Now, I did put a medic close by, so even if he killed it, the medic would have revived the unit, right? And then I can kind of like back away. But basically, we do the first kind of activations, which is you choose a character and you move the character, whatever. We do the first. And I turn to him and I say, I just want you to know, I've given you one activation to kill this unit. And then we go another one, and I'm like, I've given you 2 activations to kill this unit.
Oh, man. And the panic's just building. This man's like, wait, what's going on?
Every time we keep playing, I keep fucking with him. I keep telling him, that's 4 activations I've given you to kill this unit, and you still haven't done it. And in his head, he's like, he's thinking that I'm playing like this 4D chess move. And the funny thing is, because he's so focused on that unit, I eventually just start moving the unit up. and I took 2 victory points from him by just moving that unit, and he didn't attack it. It's hilarious.
Oh, wow.
I love it.
No, but I still have to play Kill Team. But first I'm going to play another game, which is kind of like D&D, just a bit shorter. So that's on the list of board games that I have to play soon. But speaking of the gaming news, and we do have quite the list, ladies and gentlemen. We do have quite the list. But I would just like to say, just to repeat what Rurikhan said, we are sorry for taking 2 weeks off and leaving you guys high and dry, not knowing where to get your gaming news from, but we're back now. But okay, so our poll for the week, and I will probably edit this into the beginning. So if you're watching this now, please know that we did this at the end of the stream, but we're doing it at the beginning because we forgot to do it in the beginning, and we don't want to not have it in the beginning. So apologies for that. But our poll 2 weeks ago was: should hentai games be available on Steam?
I did not agree to this poll. What the fuck?
I asked it, and we had 410 votes on our poll.
People are invested in hentai.
Yeah. 65% of people said yes, it should be available. 21% said no, and 15% just said show results. I don't care. It's
bunch of gooners out here. Hey!
Yeah. You guys know my stance on it. I sort of don't understand why Steam would have it. Me and Rurikhan had a big debate on the last episode exactly because of this hentai stuff that's happening on Steam. But I respect the fact that most people want it on there. And so who am I to argue? It is what it is. By the way, before we even get into this, let's just quickly, Rurikhan, how was your break, bro? Like, what happened? Can you just explain it for people that, what happened? And
what happened in my break? So during my break, I recorded 2 podcasts, which is always a terrible thing to do. It's like, oh yeah, I'm on a break. I'm going to record 2 podcasts because I'm stupid like that.
Yep. Yeah.
But other than that, like, I mostly played Kill Team, and I played Kill Team. Kill Team is a game that takes a while if you don't fully know the rules. And because my friends are constantly playing new teams, they're not like me, because I'm like, no, I only play dwarves. There's how many dwarven teams? 2? Those are the only 2 teams I need to know. I don't need to know any other team. I don't care about orcs. I don't care about space marines. There's 2 Leagues of Votan team, which are the space dwarves. These are the only teams I need to know. But because my friends don't know as much, and they're playing different teams and whatnot, basically our matches will last upwards from 4 to 5 hours each match. So we were constantly playing well into 3 a.m, 4 a.m, perfectly normal. So I didn't get a whole lot of rest. Beyond that, took my family to a hotel that has activities for kids. So my kid was shooting a bow, and they were doing this sliding thing that he really liked. We also did those paddle boats and a bunch of stuff that was there to do at the hotel. So spend some quality time with the family as well. And yeah, that was kind of my my holiday, pretty much.
Right. And the hate stuff, is that over now? I know there's
the Monster Hunter
stuff that's happened.
The Monster Hunter situation that happened was one of the podcasts that I recorded is with a content creator that is very expressive about wanting more difficulty in Monster Hunter Wilds. And so another creator made a 4-hour video response to a 40-minute video that creator had made. And a bunch of people jumped in on the podcast and just were very mad at me for also wanting the game to be more challenging. And it was a situation, and it's not really over yet, but I'm going to be making a video talking about it. I don't have any hatred towards the other content creator that made the 4-hour video. He actually corrected me on something that I was wrong, that I was unintentionally unaware. I thought that Anjanath had been a major quitting point for players in Monster Hunter World, and apparently there's no numbers that actually back that up. I'm not exactly sure where I interiorized that information, but I was wrong. So that's going to be something that I'm going to have to talk about, obviously. But yeah, I think I
think a lot of the time, so this does happen where you just sort of, because you spend so much time online, you see so many people maybe tweeting or replying saying, I just quit here, that you just sort of go, man, of all the people I see quit, this is the boss where everyone quits. And like everyone says this is the boss. And then that just sort of gets stuck. And obviously you don't have the actual physical numbers for it, but there is at least this anecdotal sort of story.
There's a lot of Steam forum posts as well talking about Anjanath being like a spike in difficulty, and GameFAQ posts, and there's even an article on IGN where Fujioka himself, which is one of the big brains behind Monster Hunter, talks about Anjanath being this massive wall, and that he was discussing it with his friends, and he had to go and farm like a higher tier monster before he was able to take on Anjanath. So, there's a lot of anecdotal stuff that I kind of like collated in my mind, and eventually my mind was just like, yeah, Anjanath was a quitting point. Or maybe there were facts now. Or maybe there were articles that I have seen 7 years ago that aren't around now, because this is information from 7 years ago. And I couldn't find those articles, so I don't know where I got the idea, but regardless of that, it was wrong. The numbers don't prove it, so it is what it is. And there were a couple of more things, but it's like, I think it's healthy when other content creators point out things where you might be wrong, and I'm constantly seeking out things that I disagree with. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we have the podcast. You believe in certain things, I believe in different things, and we hash it out and we talk about it. And it's just sometimes when these things happen, a lot of people feel the need to kind of just like go into comment sections and just like bombard other people, like, you need to watch this video, what's your stance on this, what you think? And it's like, whoa, like, I'm on a break, I don't have time to watch a 4-hour video right now. I'll get to it, relax. So that was kind of like the situation that happened.
I think this is something we've dealt with pretty much since the start. I think you more than I, because on my side of the aisle, because literally just this last week I spent 4 hours talking to super woke left winger.
Also 4 hours. Interesting.
This
is a theme.
He made a video basically responding to the anti-woke crowd, and effectively his 12-minute video boils down to, if you didn't like Yasuke, you're just a racist. That's the only reason you can't like Yasuke in Assassin's Creed Shadows. And then we had a 4-hour live discussion about it. And a lot of people, not all, but some percentage of my audience were like, dude, these guys will never listen. You're wasting your breath. And my response to everyone was, look, what is the point?
If you don't speak,
like, what's the point? Then I'm just preaching to the choir.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not making any difference. And also, I don't know where I'm making mistakes, because, he didn't actually end up proving shit, but he might have. He may have been able to say something that made me go, oh, wait, I never actually thought of it that way.
Which has happened to both of us on this podcast.
So there's value in talking to people that you don't fully agree with, as long as both people can be respectful and can admit when they're wrong. I don't mind having a discussion with anyone. I think it's healthy. I think you should be doing that, right? But sometimes hate can be quite overwhelming when it's coming from everywhere. And as a content creator, you're just like, you remember Sebi?
Yep.
Sebi was in that during your break. I don't know if you even saw it.
Really? What happened?
When Clair Obscur came out, he tweeted out, for years now, the Final Fantasy players have been gaslit into believing turn-based combat is dead and no one wants it. And now this, and bro, did the Final Fantasy bros not like that?
Why?
Like, holy shit. Dude, they were attacking the living crap out of him.
Jesus
saying,
Christ.
oh, you can play this game and Octopath Traveler and all this shit. No one claimed that turn-based is dead. And it's like, dude, in his tweet, he says Final Fantasy. Like, I don't know why you're bringing up all these other Square Enix games. It's literally about Final Fantasy. And Yoshi P was the one that said turn-based combat is dead. No one wants turn-based combat anymore.
Yoshi
that was like in an article that he eventually had to link. And he just reached out to me on Discord a couple of days ago. It's like, dude, what just happened here? What's like, he just woke up one morning and his Twitter is on fire. Just like everyone's attacking him.
I feel like right now it's just a situation where a lot of people in the gaming community are just ready to explode over anything and everything. So like when I first got confronted with the situation that people were just like, you know, spamming my comment section with vitriol and shit like that, one of the first things that I did was like, hey, listen, maybe I'm extending my break. Maybe I'm gonna stay on a break for a little bit longer since you guys are really upset, and I'm just gonna chill and play some more Kill Team. But the second thing I did was like, wait, if people are doing this on my comment section, they might be doing it on the other guy's comment section as well. So I was like, hey, by the way, don't go out and fight any battles on my behalf, please. Like, I don't need people to go and, you know, harass somebody else or, you know, go in there and reinforce that like, oh no, Rurikhan's right. It's like, I don't want none of this. Okay. I don't want people going to other content creators and, you know, criticizing them. Like I'm not above criticism. Like neither are you, neither is anybody. Nobody's above criticism. It is what it is. And you know, it's just one of those things, but people are very tribalistic right now. So it's kind of like, and it's strange because I feel like even though there are certain things that are happening in the industry that are bad, like we're going to be talking about some of those, I feel like during my break, we got Clair Obscur, which is phenomenal. We got the Oblivion remaster, which I actually played a little bit the other day.
Also pretty good.
Had a blast getting my face completely smashed because apparently expert difficulty is not properly balanced, and I was just getting fucking pummeled left, right, and center. But that's the way I like it. I'm like, yeah, give me more. Yeah. Slap me around like a little bitch. I love it. And you know, so we got that. I got like an update in Monster. There's like tons of good stuff happening. Apparently, there's been an update on No Rest for the Wicked literally today, this Wednesday, which is another game that I want to get back to because I love the combat in that game.
That still.
You've never played it?
Because that
game is awesome.
The director or the creator of it, he actually told me you should get on my game. And I was like, dude, I will, but holy crap, there's so many games.
Hasn't he?
Like, give me a moment.
Just tell him to send you a key. What the fuck? Why hasn't he sent you a key?
I never asked people for keys.
No, bro. Say that. Listen, send my man a key. What do you mean? You need to get on my game.
I don't think he knows me that well, and I'm obviously not that big of a voice, but he is part of the anti-woke crowd, so like him, obviously. Although I say he's part of the anti-woke crowd.
I wouldn't necessarily
say that. I should probably
just
say he's more on this side of no politics in video games. They just want to make it.
Yes.
Like, they don't give a crap about anything.
That
he's
I
not
agree
really
with.
like
I've seen his takes. Yes.
Yeah, I would say he's on my side of the culture war, right? And by that I mean the way that I view myself as an anti-woke content creator, not the way that people view it, right? So we've spoken about this before. From my perspective, I literally just this week had a massive sort of battle against elements of the anti-woke because they were going after Clair Obscur.
I saw your video. I've listened to it. And it was Yorch Torch and John De La Rose, I think.
John De La Rose. Yeah,
I see those guys being referenced all the time because they're like big. Aren't they like super into PlayStation exclusives or something like that? Or am I mistaken?
The problem is they're super anti-woke about everything, but then they tweet things like, this is the top 10 games. Why can't games be this good? And then it's Mass Effect as one of them. It's like, I seem to remember homosexuality being available.
Why are you gay?
Yeah, it's just like these guys don't know anything about gaming. They're just there to sort of, I don't want to call them grifters, but I would say that's what grifting looks like. People just
that
take
don't actually play the video games,
everything.
Yeah,
right?
They just like go with the flow, and it's like, oh, whatever's popular, I'll just echo that.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming those two guys are probably the ones that put games like Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate on the super woke games on their list.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Baldur's Gate is super woke.
Yeah, Giga.
Clair Obscur is super woke because there's about 10% of the NPCs in the intro.
I saw one black person in a cutscene, clearly woke, super woke.
Yeah, and my definition of woke isn't that. My definition of woke is the game is turned into political activism, right?
Yeah, I didn't feel
not that you have black characters or gay characters in it. That's bullshit. Like, games have always had that. That's why my tweet literally had Captain Anderson from Mass Effect there. And I was like, bro, it's been over a decade. I'll still take any orders this man gives me. He's the captain. It's like, what the hell are we doing here? So it's just sort of like, man, but I would say he's on my side of the culture war, where we just don't want politics in video games. Take your politics somewhere else. No one cares. Just make video games. I would actually put Sven Vink on that as well, because after his monster speech at the Game Awards, it's clear that this man also has no interest in politics in video games.
Of course.
He just wants to make some good
video games, which is exactly what everybody wants. But
yeah, 100%.
It is what it is.
But speaking about what people want but also don't want, like, I kind of want this though. No. Speaking of what people do want.
Oh no.
Do you know how you hate Ubisoft?
Yes.
And how any bad news about Ubisoft makes you very happy.
I mean, not any bad news. I don't usually celebrate people losing their jobs, but I do celebrate.
Well, you're not going to celebrate now, though, because I will celebrate, because as you know, I wish for a live stream that shows them walking out.
Yeah.
Not at all. Not at all. But we have EA and Respawn. Okay, so Respawn puts out this bizarre tweet. Like, it is genuinely bizarre. I read their thing 3 or 4 times, and I still sat there going, what the hell are they talking about?
I mean,
like, none of this makes sense.
The Larian Studios marketing guy, I think he's in marketing, he also read it. And he was like, I've read this 3 times. I still don't understand. And I'm just like, and this guy works.
Wait, he said it.
This is his department.
I kept reading the first paragraph, and I'm like,
I haven't read it yet, so I don't know what's going on. I'm a little bit out of the loop, I'll admit. But yeah,
I genuinely didn't understand what the hell are these guys trying to say. Like, I know that there's words, and they're clearly trying to say some words, but I'm not sure what it is they're trying to say. I'm trying to find it for you because, dude, it was just like,
should we do a live reading of it? I think that would be funny.
I want to read it live for you guys because this was just
Layoffs.
Okay, I have it here.
You have it? Link me, please.
Yeah. Okay.
We're doing live reaction. Well, not really live. It's still VOD, but we're doing it live.
But it's live,
guys.
Yeah, you guys are seeing it in real time.
So I will read it in my corpo voice.
Please do.
At Respawn, bold ideas, creative risks, and passionate storytelling have always defined who we are. That spirit has carried us through incredible heights, and sometimes through difficult changes too. As we sharpen our focus for the future, we've made the decision to step away from 2 early-stage incubation projects and make some targeted team adjustments across Apex Legends and Star Wars Jedi. These decisions aren't easy, and we are deeply grateful to every teammate affected. Their creativity and contributions have helped build Respawn into what it is today. We're offering meaningful support to those impacted, including exploring new opportunities within EA.
Can you just stop there quickly and so they laid people off without even saying that people they just sort of say
them off and they're like, by
adjustments.
The way, thanks. they're thanking the people they're
like,
laying off. This is so fucked up, dude. I hadn't read this, by the way, guys. I'm reading this completely blind. But imagine that this podcast was like super successful, like Joe Rogan levels, right? And you and me, we're 2 hosts, and I'm just like, I happen to be higher on the totem pole, so I'm firing you, and I'm just like, accolonn, I'd like to thank you. And you're like,
yeah, I'm making some adjustments.
I'm making some adjustments, so thanks. And you're just like, what do you mean?
Wait.
And I just fold my arms and I just wait for you to leave. I don't even say anything else.
Yeah, you don't tell me you're fired. It's just like, thank you.
I'm making some adjustments, accolonn. Thanks. Anyway, continuing. Looking ahead, our commitment to player-first experiences remains unchanged. Innovation has always been at the core of Respawn's identity, and it continues to drive how we build the future. From evolving live experiences to crafting new worlds and stories. For Apex Legends, that means not just delivering competitive, innovative seasons, but expanding what Apex can be. While the team will continue to refine gameplay and bring new ideas to upcoming seasons, we're also investing in what's next for the franchise, exploring bold experiences that push the boundaries of competitive play while staying true to the spirit of competition, creativity, and integrity that our community expects. Within the Star Wars universe, we're excited to keep building new stories, with the next chapter of the Star Wars Jedi series aiming to raise the bar again for storytelling and gameplay. To everyone who has been part of our journey, past, present, and future, thank you for making Respawn what it is. We carry your legacy with us into everything we create next. They thank them again.
Yeah. But at no point do they actually say that they're laid off, just that they're being adjusted.
So let me just explain to you why that is, accolonn. I understand that you don't understand corporate speak, but I'm very familiar with this.
Yeah.
See, we can't have any negativity in the dojo. So we're not laying these people off. We're giving them the opportunity to excel elsewhere, and we're thanking them. It's fucked up. I'm sorry. I don't want to make light of people losing their jobs. I know that you don't give a fuck, but
I want to make light of people at EA and Respawn.
No, bro.
Some of the wokest companies in the gaming industry.
Why is Respawn woke? Is it because of Apex? Because I haven't kept up with Apex.
Bro, have you seen Apex Legends?
Star Wars Jedi.
That game has no. Star Wars Jedi is actually good. Right, it's actually
except
like
for
a game
performance.
Of a
performance
game.
is a piece of shit, but other than that,
yeah. But the story is good. The gameplay is pretty decent. Not really my style of game, but I did enjoy playing.
I like it.
There was nothing bad with it. But you go on their website. They're all in on the ESG, DEI stuff. Inclusivity is our strength. Diversity is our strength. Bullshit. And fundamentally, from my perspective, hey, EA suffers and bleeds, I'm happy. And look, sadly, that is going to come with people losing their jobs. All I can say is, if you were one of the people that made, one of the progressive characters in the game, then good riddance. We don't need you in the gaming industry. If there is people in this, because there obviously will be people who lost their jobs that are genuinely good, that I mourn your loss in the gaming industry. I didn't want to see you lose your job. But fundamentally, I do think it's going to happen way more. I think the deluge is coming. I think we're seeing it now, and it is going to get much worse. Because one of two things is going to happen here. Either the gaming industry is going to wake up and realize the politics thing isn't selling. It's just not appealing. And this isn't even like all the gamers are anti-woke. It's about making games that appeal to people. Right? And when you see a game like Dragon Age The Veilguard and you see a character like Tash, how many people realistically see that and think, man, I want to play that? And now compare that to, say, Clair Obscur. Everyone who saw the cinematic for Clair Obscur was like, bro, what the hell is that? I want to see that. Right? And so I think the industry is going to have to make a choice. Either go back to making games that people actually want to play, or continue doing what you're doing. But it's just going to make things worse. There's going to be even more people that have to be fired the longer they continue down this road. So I sort of think we're going to see a lot of developers lose their jobs.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's some of the better developers that stay. And they fire. Most of the layoffs, though, we should mention, is usually lost in, first out. So that's usually how layoffs work. So whoever joined last, they're the first to get fired.
Which is it's still not necessarily a good thing. Layoffs just kind of
because
suck.
it's still blanket, right?
Yeah.
But what I know a lot of gaming companies do is they do follow the last in, first out model, because that's the way you don't get sued. Otherwise, people can sue you for wrongful termination and all the rest of it. But then what they do is, afterwards, they go and they hire the persons that they want back as consultants, because you have to do it for like 12 months in order to bypass like the laws and stuff.
And a lot of these places, basically, they're firing people also right before they enter the company's like more secure positions. I forget what.
What the shareholder, getting share options and stuff.
Not that, but like
there's a lot of game devs to get that.
In Portugal, we have a term which is os quadros da empresa, which is when you enter the actual. You enter a thing where it's not easy to fire you because you're in a more permanent position. And then if you fire people from that position, then you have to like justify it properly. Otherwise, you're opening yourself up to lawsuits and all kinds of other types of litigation. And I feel like a lot of times what happens is people will quit. Not quit. People will get fired right before they're about to enter those more permanent positions, and then they might try to hire them back at a lower salary because, corpos are scumbags. It's just that simple. It's like, it is what it is. But yeah.
I do think, I think I'm, at least speculatively, I'm going to link this to what happened with the BioWare team. I think EA is at a point where they're starting to wake up. And
so they're going more
what they've done with BioWare. Sorry?
So they're going more woke?
No.
Because they're waking up.
No, I mean, you look at BioWare, they fired pretty much all of them, right? Or moved them into the rest of EA. And now the only people that's left there are people that were there, like, since the first Mass Effect. So they basically did a full reset on the BioWare studio. And I think EA is at a point now where that's exactly where they want to go with it. So I think I think this is probably part of it. They're getting rid of a lot of the more activist developers. And we kind of know now that there are a bunch of activist developers. There's a clip that came out from SPI's founder, that crazy chick that runs SPI, where they basically admit they have developers inside the studios that will make life hell for their higher-ups if these higher-ups don't submit to more political stories and politically correct stories. So I think a lot of these studios are now getting rid of those developers. But what's sad is Titanfall is one of the games that got basically cancelled. Titanfall 3. Which I know a lot of people were sort of excited for.
Yeah, because everybody loved Titanfall 2, from my understanding at least. It's just a shame that apparently that game got completely taken over by hackers. Last I checked, and
all right.
that was a serious problem that they were never really able to solve. I played Titanfall 2 for a bit, and it was a very solid game. I feel like Respawn are very talented at what they do, and I kind of feel
gameplay, they're very good.
And I kind of feel like Apex Legends was them kind of like capitalizing on a trend, and it worked because Apex Legends, at least for a while, I don't know how successful it is now. I'm assuming it's still super successful because everybody's always talking about it still. Yeah. But I feel like they would have been much happier had they done Titanfall 3, but I'm pretty sure that EA was much happier with them doing Apex Legends, so it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it is what it is, but between 300 and 400 people, because again, we don't really know, because their actual announcement of the layoffs make no mention of the layoffs, except that these people have been adjusted.
Yeah.
Yeah. They thanked them, and then they adjusted them into a more open career choice.
Exactly.
It's more of an open relationship with your career kind of thing, where you have options. You can now go anywhere you want.
It's like you remember the Spider-Verse from Sam Raimi, the Spider-Man movies, where Peter Parker is trying to get a job at whatever, the Globe or whatever it's called, the publication, and Jonah Jameson goes like, "Nonsense! Freelance! That's what you young people should do." That's what they've just told these guys. Like, no, what you guys need to do is some freelancing. Guys, go out there and take on the world. It's like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Fucking bullshit.
Don't think of this as a layoff. Rather think of this as a promotion.
Yeah.
To freelancer.
Yeah, you've been promoted.
We're promoting you to free is always good.
It's disgusting.
Free is in the name. Like, you're a freelancer. Free is good. Lancers are cool. Put those two together, you've got yourself a winning formula.
It's so fucked up that like you can't even properly respect your team to say, hey, you know, we had to lay off these people. It's like, no, your idea of respecting your team is like, thanks guys, thanks for helping us readjust. That's fucked up,
dude. But it's sort of like, I think it is peak cowardice.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't want to get attacked, and so you put out a message that doesn't state any of the things that you're about to do. You don't even take ownership for the games that you just canceled. But, you know, it is what it is. Speaking about owls, and this one will make you very happy because this is to do with Ubisoft.
Okay.
Rurikhan, you know how, like, back in the early, like, 2000s, how we were playing at 60 FPS?
Yeah.
On PC, you know, and life was really good. Now Ubisoft has finally, in the year 2025, they've just bizarrely put out a patch for Far Cry 4 that allows for stunning, in their own words, 60 FPS in Far Cry 4.
Gorgeous.
It's a patch, and it's only on current consoles, by the way. You can't get it on the PlayStation 4 because apparently 11-year-old graphics is way too demanding to make it 60 FPS.
I'm sure
on a PlayStation 4. Make this make sense. Like, I have nothing against the patch. Sure, put out a patch for more FPS, no problem. But do we celebrate those?
Yeah, of course, because you know,
why
you get 60 FPS finally, but I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that Ubisoft's engine is generally garbage, and they're very not fantastically talented, and therefore it's like, yeah, let's do 60 FPS Far Cry 4, yeah, it's so good. Like, listen, I'm happy to people who are still playing Far Cry 4. You now get to play it at 60 FPS on consoles. But wait, so it's only for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, I'm assuming, because the S probably can't do it.
Yeah, because the others are not powerful enough. You know, 11-year-old games are super demanding and shit. I don't understand. They made an actual cinematic thing for it too. Like, they actually, like, they treated this like it's a big patch or something, like a graphical update.
It's a big deal.
Just, I don't know if it is though. Like, I remember seeing the post and I was like, I literally looked at the date of the tweet because I was like, how old is this? Because I would expect this to be like 6 or 7 years ago, but now we're celebrating that 11 years later. It's just like, I don't understand.
The other thing is this even available on base PS5 or is it only PS5 Pro?
I have no idea. They just say current gen consoles.
Okay. I'm assuming that PS5 Pro probably has a couple of more bells and whistles that the Series X and the regular PS5 don't have, which would be even more interesting. Yeah. But I think the interesting thing is just the timing of it, because like if you're going to do a 60 FPS patch for Far Cry 4, why wouldn't you do it when the console's launched? Why would you do it now?
Yeah, it's almost like Ubisoft's like, dude, we were in the conversation of the public space for like 5 minutes after Assassin's Creed Shadows launched. Then everyone just gave up and left. We need something to make people talk about us again. Let's give them 60 FPS of Far Cry 4.
I think it might be a sign that Ubisoft is trying to make investments into their back catalog to get people to play their older games, because they're going they don't have any they don't have a whole lot of plans for what they're going to do with their current IP. Like Assassin's Creed Shadows was it, and now they're like, I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, let's update our engine, let's make our game 60 FPS. That'll get people to play stuff again, right?
Yeah, but I mean, in a world of remakes, dude, that's actually why they probably did it.
What?
Because Oblivion just put out this whole new remaster, and they were like, wait, we want to do this too.
We want to do that too.
Yeah. But we don't actually want to remaster. That's a whole lot of work. No, we'll just do 60 FPS. Let's go.
You get 60 FPS and that's it. No more, no less.
And if I know Ubisoft, they literally just went to their engine and they click the button that goes 60. They didn't do any work to actually make it 60. So you're probably getting like a shit ton of bugs.
It's like an ini file.
Just
it's an ini file.
It's just an ini file. They just made 60.
File.
Let's go. And now that's a patch. So, it is what it is, but Ubisoft wanted to be part of the conversation.
The guy who figured out they could do that probably got a promotion. They're like, good job, Timmy. You figured it out. You swapped that 30 into a 60. My man.
Dude, at this point, I think Timmy could actually be the CEO. I mean, there's no way he's making worse decisions than Guillermo. Yeah, like Guillermo couldn't be better than Timmy. Because at least Timmy made one of their games better. Guillermo hasn't even been able to make a good game yet. But it is what it is. Next up, you never played KCD 2, did you?
No, and I didn't play Kingdom Come Deliverance.
All right, so Kingdom Come Deliverance, Daniel Vavra. We're not going to spend too much time on this because, well, it's more my neck of the woods, but need to keep people updated on what happened. Yeah. You remember the big stuff. Yes. Around Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and the whole Saudi story, and people had sort of many questions, and Daniel Vavra eventually finally came out and said, oh, okay, yeah, you can be gay with Henry, but then sort of said, no one forced us, this is absolutely my choice, we did this is what we wanted to do. Well, turns out he wasn't entirely honest. In a podcast that came out yesterday. The podcast is in Czech, but you can do Google, like the YouTube translate thing. Yeah, and also some of the Czech people in my comment section sort of watched it, and they were like, yep, that's exactly it. He actually admits that after all of the stuff that happened in KCD 1, he was willing to get fired, because in KCD 1, the left was attacking him. But after that, he sort of started thinking, well, this wasn't fun to go through. So for KCD 2, they actively started working with contractors and with consultants on their script to remove a lot of the more problematic elements of the game. And he actually says in so many words, they started self-censoring. So whenever they would write a story, they would sort of actively think, is this going to make people on the left mad? And if the answer was yes, they would just remove it. He also went through his entire Facebook and he cleaned up his Facebook so that if people now look at his Facebook in English, they'll find nothing that's wrong with his political opinions. I watched it and I was like, wait, so you're admitting that you just lied and gaslit players about the whole Henry being gay thing? Because you absolutely adamantly stood and said this was not for political reasons. This was what you've always wanted to do. This is the direction you want to take the story. But this was 100% for politics. In the first game, you guys said Henry isn't gay. He's the son of a blacksmith. He's straight. He's a Christian. That's just who he is. This isn't you aren't Henry. Henry isn't you. And now you actively censored yourself in order to make him, more. And I think the thing that really annoyed me is it was the gamers that stood by them during all of the attacks during the first KCD 1. The first KCD. It was gamers that backed them. It was gamers that supported them.
I remember that happening during the first game for sure, because there was a lot of pushback on account of the setting of the game and all of that stuff, and people pushing back, and it is what it is. It's a strange thing to me, because it's like I've always said, you should let developers do what they want. It's their business, and then whether or not it sells, it's up to them. It's the product they wanted to make. And all of this interference is just weird.
No, I say this, but this is the problem, man. You will know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe some of the viewers will understand this as well. one of the most frustrating things about being a content creator is when you put out a video, you take such good care to make your point so specifically,
and then you get a bad faith interpretation,
and people just comment, and it's like, wait, that's not what I said. Like, holy
like,
shit, that isn't what I said.
You'll put out the usual video where you're like, man, apples are so good. Apples are the best. I love apples. Somebody comes into the comments section. So why do you hate oranges? What you got against oranges, bro? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, this
never
is
had
literally
orange?
what happened.
What the fuck? And it's like, yeah, this literally happens all the goddamn time. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. But this is what happened to me last night. When I put out this video, I made it so clear. I don't care if you want to make Henry gay. I've said this to you before. I've said this so many times. But be honest, right? Come out and say, guys, look, we thought that this was a better idea. We didn't like the first part where you couldn't be gay, so we decided to make you gay. If you wanted to be gay, right? So your choice. We make you player sexual, effectively. But then come out and say it. The thing that annoys me is that he lied to the players and then gaslit the players and attacked the players that were demanding an answer. And instead of giving an answer, he just sort of gaslit
Things
even
are not
more.
what they seem.
Yeah,
don't believe everything you
me.
read. I think I remember that one specifically. Don't believe.
I make this. Yeah. Don't believe everything you read, and then it's exactly what we read. Like exactly what we read is what happened. But that's the thing that annoys me, is the fact that he lied over and over again. And then I say that in my video, and there's literal comments of people going, "What do you have against gay people in a video game?" What? When did I say that? Did you watch the video?
You guys don't know. Accolonn loves sucking dick in Mass Effect.
You have to, right? It's Caden. You suck his dick right before you send him to death. That's just how it works, Like, he's the one that has to die. It's always Ashley. That's the one you choose to go with.
I still remember the short clip that we made in the Frozen Sodium Throne where you were just like, I mean, if Blizzard pulls out a 9-inch monster, you're the one who said it.
Hey, back in my wild days.
Yes.
Are you ready to talk about something more fun than this?
Yes.
You've played Clair Obscur, right?
Yes! Bro, Clair Obscur is friggin' sweet. I actually was trying to play that on the hardest difficulty, and then I was like, nah, bro, I just ain't that guy. I'm
super hard. If you go on the hardest difficulty, it is hard.
Yeah, I mean,
like, even I would say
normal,
Expeditioner.
Yeah,
Expedition, the normal one, is almost, for me, it's just under most normal bosses' Elden Ring difficulty. Not quite the same, but you still have to dodge things because they will destroy you if you don't dodge.
Story bosses, maybe, but some of the stuff that you can find on the side, like this stupid pink bush that I found, the chromatic whatever, I'm just like, bro, what the hell is this thing? Just like, it just starts attacking you, and it goes like, oh, I'm just going to take 10 turns while you're going to sit there and take it. Wait, I thought this was a turn-based game. When's my turn? Why do you get 10 turns?
He's hogging the turns.
He's hogging all the turns. I want to have some turns too. Not to mention, I started the combat. I did the shooting thing. Why don't I get this?
That is the most annoying thing. I do the F to shoot the thing, and then they attack first.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, that's not fair. I got first strike.
I love it.
Man.
I think
but yes,
so
you are correct.
Fun.
Some of the optional bosses are pretty much Elden Ring level of bosses. Even on normal. In fact, some of them might even be worse than Elden Ring bosses because
for me they're worse.
They one shot.
Yeah, for me they're worse because I'm not that good at. Here's the thing. I love turn-based games. This is going to be a weird thing probably for a lot of people. I love turn-based games. I love real-time games. I like them both. But for some reason, I often find turn-based games much harder than real-time games, which I think a lot of people are like, what?
Yeah.
What? You play like Elden Ring and stuff. Like, yeah. And this is harder for me. Okay, listen, this is way harder for me. Because it's a different skill set. You need to figure out how to stack stuff like to redonkulous levels, and you need to figure out exactly what is the right build, and that requires a lot of experimentation. But I love the systems that they got going, and the presentation is so good. Absolutely phenomenal.
The music, the art style, the feel of the game, the voice acting, the writing. I will say, it's a damn shame it's on UE5. I'm sorry. I got complaints on UE5. Listen, here's an interesting thing about Clair Obscur. So as you know, I have a 2-PC streaming setup. Yeah.
Clair Obscur makes the encoder on my second PC explode. And I can't explain why. It's the only game that does it. I don't know what is the...
It did it for me too. But I'm on a single PC one, and my thing kept going encoder overloaded.
Yeah.
Encoder overloaded.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole time.
There's something about whatever this Unreal Engine is doing that OBS or your GPU or something doesn't like it. And the way that I figured out how to get it to work, for some strange reason, and again, I want to emphasize to people, I have a 2-PC setup, so there's no performance impact whatsoever. So the problems that were happening on OBS, I was not seeing that on my monitor. So I was just like, this is super weird. Never seen this problem before. And the way that I fixed it was I switched from borderless to full screen, which is like, it's literally the same image. I don't get it. Nothing changed from an encoding standpoint, but switching it from window to full screen and turning VSync on. I had to turn VSync on as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah.
And that locked it at like 60. And then it was like much better. I also had to disable preview on OBS because if the preview was on, it would still like, mess about.
Yeah, just there.
So I was like, I did all those things, and eventually, okay, now we're clean, we're running, we're smooth. But it's one of those situations where Unreal Engine 5 do be Unreal Engine 5 and is doing Unreal Engine 5 things. So,
Now, I agree with you, although I will say this is probably the most optimized Unreal Engine 5 game I have ever played. Because all other Unreal Engine 5 games for me goes from barely playable to unplayable in most places.
Yeah.
Where you get into like a busy city and it's just like, well, may as well be looking at pictures here. Because this is nuts.
But once
so at least
once I figured it out, it was running smoothly on my end.
I will say, before we get into the absolute glazing that this game deserves, I will offer 2 big criticisms if the developers are watching this. I really want you to fix this. Number 1, give me a bloody auto cue. I don't want to click F every single time for the next sentence.
Oh,
it gets annoying.
Okay.
Just let it auto play.
Yes.
Yeah, just give me an option to auto advance.
They'll probably do that because a lot of JRPGs have that, which is where they're drawing a lot of inspiration from. So they'll probably do that at some point.
Yeah, it might just have been a small oversight because it doesn't break the game, but it is somewhat annoying when you just want to sit back and watch this discussion because the acting is truly phenomenal.
And
then you have to
Let me tell you why they didn't do it. Why probably it wasn't a big priority for them. It's because there are some dialogues that while there is sound, they aren't voice acted. So like when you're talking to the gestuals, they're speaking gibberish. So you have to actually read it or you won't understand what's going on. So they were probably just like, let's just, make people click through it and then they'll click whenever they want and it's whatever.
And there's also dialogue that is literally not even sound.
Yeah, there's dialogue that doesn't have sound. Yeah. So
it's
but
cute.
It's like
it gives you sort of insight.
But there's something that I think that there's a middle ground that you can reach where you can just turn it on and off, which is something that you can do, for instance, in 14.
There was a game that did that.
14.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 14 can do that.
But
there's another game that I played very recently where
Persona?
you can just hold in a certain key and then everything is on autoplay. But then you can hold in the key again, and it takes it off autoplay. But now I can't remember the bloody game.
I think Persona does that, but I don't know if you've been playing Persona or Metaphor, maybe.
No, I will never play those games.
Why not? The fuck?
They don't sound like my type of game.
They're amazing. You'd love them.
I'm sure.
Live your schoolboy fantasy. What's wrong with that? You don't want to be a schoolboy?
Let me finish Clair Obscur. Let me use Clair Obscur to dive into the world of JRPGs, and then I'll become a full-blown weeaboo or whatever the hell they call themselves.
Buy a katana.
Then I'll in about a month from now I'll be full-blown anime. Talking to you about my favorite anime of all time. By the way, I tried to watch Castlevania the other day. First episode, I was like, no, thank you. Bullshit. Not gonna watch this. And the only reason I did that is because I watched Devil May Cry, the anime, on Netflix. And this is where every single Devil May Cry fan is going to be super angry with me. I liked it. Pretty cool.
I thought it was good. I haven't watched it yet.
I thought it was good. I don't know shit about the game. Never played Devil May Cry. So for me, it was pretty good. It wasn't like the best thing I've ever watched, but it was fine. That's one. And then the second, I would say, slight minor nuisance in the game is that even in full screen or in windowed full screen, your mouse cursor does not stay in the screen.
Oh, it doesn't trap the mouse?
No. So what happened was,
that sounds
while I was streaming, I accidentally almost, like I was millimeters off ending my stream while I'm clicking on, like, in the game. I'm trying to click in the game, and I'm like, wait, why is this not working? What the hell's going on? Nothing's clicking. And I look at my mouse, and it's just above the stop streaming button. I'm clicking, so if I just kept clicking, I would have stopped my stream midstream. So that was pretty annoying. But outside of that, I think this game is an easy 9 out of 10, if not 10 out of 10. The only reason I won't give it 10 out of 10 is because no game is ever truly perfect. But I've been having the time of my life with this game.
I haven't played far enough into it to where I can properly, for starters, I don't like grading games to begin with. I think it's very diminutive, but I know that is something that a lot of people do to end up doing. But I think that the game is a tremendous amount of fun, and I've been having a blast playing it. My biggest thing is that I really struggle with parrying in that game. And I don't want it to be easier, which is one of the things that people are like, oh, yeah, it should just be easier. I don't think it should be easier, but I do think there needs to be some way of training players to get better at it, because right now it's like getting better at it is just repeat the fight until you get the timing right. And I just find the window so incredibly tight for parrying, because I'm always going for the parry.
Yeah, the window is ridiculously tight. And the problem with the combat is they don't always have the same combat animations.
Of course.
Because
that's why
every enemy will have like a few different types of attacks. And you don't know until you know what attack they're doing.
So it's
and there's specifically one enemy that has 3 different attacks. It's the guys with the giant like glaive thing almost, like this big spear thing.
Yeah.
Where sometimes they pull back and then they wait for like a massive amount of time and then they slam forward. And then other times they pull back, hold it, slam forward, and then go again with like the thing turning orange, and then they slam you. And then other times they have like a fast attack, which they literally just pull back. Grah! So you're like a little abused kid just going, don't do this to me. Just give me a moment here. It's like, dude, it's insane.
The funny... One of the funnier things to me was there's that boss that you have to do, and he has a big shield with 3 cannons or whatever it is. And so I was struggling through that. I had noticed that with one of the characters, I could like hit him a certain way that would cause him to burn, and that would expose like his weak shoulder, but I didn't shoot him enough to break off the arm. So I was like going through the fight and getting like pummeled a little bit, and I was still trying to get the patterns, and then he eventually beats me. And then I go back into the fight, and I just grab that one character that I know I can like shoot into the exposed arm, And I just shoot him 3 times, break off his arm, and I was like, well, this is going significantly easier this time around because you don't have an arm.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, I just ripped off his arm, bro. Just shoot his arm off. Fuck him.
I saw the weak spot, and I shot it a couple of times, and I was like,
you're hitting the shield when you're doing it. But
doesn't look like anything's happening yet.
If you hit him with something that deals fire damage, which my Mael had like a sword that dealt fire damage, he's going to like start burning when you shoot him, and then he's going to expose it. And so when he exposed it, I'm like, bang, 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 down. Blows off the arm.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, this is so much better. This fight is going so much better now. Look at that. It's not that hard.
I one-shot that guy, so I don't know why, but I managed to one-shot him.
Oh, I see how it is. Mr. Big Man. No, it's fine.
But I did end up one-shotting him. But there's other bosses that I have not one-shot. There's like, and sometimes not even necessarily that hard. There's one boss that's a completely optional boss, where as you run towards it, Lune goes, this is a something enemy. Like, this is a significantly difficult enemy. He looks dangerous. She says that as you run towards him. Dude, I probably wiped like an hour on that guy. Where I just could not get it. Because he one-shots with every hit. They say, what the... And he kills me on the first go as well. So then I'm just like, with one character, you're trying to do damage. But it is so fun once you get into it, because once you start building your party out to where you have someone that deals fire damage, and then someone that gives weakness to fire damage, and then another one is doing this, dude, seeing the big numbers is just insane. But if you are struggling with parrying, if you're one of the viewers here, like Rurikhan, struggling to parry, don't worry. Polygon did a nice little guide for you to tell you how you should play the game. And Polygon's advice for people who are struggling, with parrying, a big mechanic in the game, is forget about parrying. Expedition 33's big gimmick is that it pairs turn-based combat with real-time parries. The thing is, no matter the difficult level, the parry window is blink and you'll miss it brief. We're talking 0.0000, it's not that short, frames at best. If you want your party members and your controller to not die, focus instead on dodging.
Wait, do you hear that? I hear like a baby sound, like wah, wah.
Yeah.
Wah. Is somebody crying over at Polygon like, it's not fair?
After reading this, I genuinely went to because someone cut this out and tweeted it. So I went to their guide and I read it, and I expected them to go, also going to the settings and turn off QTE because it's too difficult to click. Because they didn't say that, but I expected them to do that because,
might as well.
Dude, parrying is such a big part of this game.
Of course.
Like, I don't think people understand how much damage you do, and you get like Pictos and Lumina that will increase your counter damage, your counter attack damage by insane levels. So you can almost one-shot an enemy with like a good parry sequence.
Yeah.
So to say just leave it out, just dodge a little.
It's like the old there were mainstream websites that when Sekiro came out, they were like, Sekiro is bullshit, needs an easy mode, and also I went ahead and I downloaded this mod, and now I one-shot every enemy, and I don't even feel bad about it. And I'm just like, what do you mean you don't feel bad about it? You feel so bad you had to write a fucking article to justify the shitty thing that you just did. What do you mean you don't feel bad about it?
Man.
If you don't feel bad about it, shut the fuck up and enjoy the game. Like, what the fuck? It was weird, dude.
This is just genuinely sad to me, because you're supposed to be putting out a guide that helps people play the game. And this would be like me back in the day when I did Warlock guides for World of Warcraft, going, guys, so raiding is really hard.
So just don't raid.
Don't do raids.
Yeah, just don't raid.
That's the guide.
See,
don't go into the raid.
I solved your problem. You want to go do the latest raid? How about you just don't do that? Just don't do it.
Yeah, it's difficult. You have to dodge stuff and not stand on fire.
Not stand on fire. Really, like, it's hard. Just stand on fire and don't do the raid. There you go. Problem solved.
Yeah. And it's just like, wait, what? What are we doing here? This is why people don't like the media, because you guys are idiots.
Because I'll fail parry. I failed so many parries. I have I think 9 hours in the game. One of my biggest complaints is that I have a hard time streaming it because I'm usually I run into the pink bush thing, and I know that it's bad for the stream if I just stay there for 5 hours. But if I was playing by myself, it's exactly what I'd do. I just stay there 5 hours. Not giving a fuck, probably put on a movie in the background or something, watch a series or whatever, and just be in there chilling yep, I'm going to learn your parry timings, bitch. We're going to be here all day. I'm going to learn these parry but on stream, I can't do that because nobody wants to watch that, right?
I make my viewers sit through it, man. I sat on that boss for an hour. My viewers just had to watch me die and die and die. And die. Man, no, but
I like it a lot. And you want to know? What was one of the kind of moments that I realized something really magical about the game that hadn't even crossed my mind because I was just having so much fun. Right? It was the moment when I looked and I was like, so wait a minute. There's absolutely no user interface whatsoever. There's nothing. Unless you're in combat or something, then yeah, there's the menus and all that stuff. If you go into a pause menu or whatever, or if you're in a dialogue, sure. But if you're not doing any of those things, there's nothing. There's no map.
No.
There's nothing. It's just go explore, fucking figure it out. And in my mind, I started hearing back to the distant whimpers of those Ubisoft employees, because it's funny because this is made by ex-Ubisoft employees. And I started listening to the whimpers from the Elden Ring days where people were like, gamers just don't care about UX. They just don't care about UX. My UX.
I will never, it's I will never forget. This was before I even played Elden Ring. A Ubisoft developer tweeted out a map of Elden Ring. And they were like, this is a mess. You don't know where to go. And I was like, have you seen your maps? Bro, wait, what are you talking about? And then I played Elden Ring, and I was like,
objectives. Okay, that's what your map is.
But when I played Elden Ring, I was like, dude, this map gives me nothing. It just tells me where I can go explore. You put out a bunch of pins and then pretend like this matters. But I mean, the map itself is just clean.
Yeah, no.
You need to put down a pin and be like, I'm gonna go there.
And it was
otherwise there's nothing on the map. It's just, man, Ubisoft's such a joke. And this is what's really funny to me is these developers prove the point that I've been making. People with talent will leave the AAA industry and start companies like Sandfall, where this is their first game. And by the way, did you see how GameFAQ came out with an article wanting to correct gamers who falsely claim that this game was made by just 30 developers? And in their article, they're like, yes, officially there's only 30 developers that work for Sandfall, but Sandfall also worked with a small Korean animator studio of 8 people that helped them with some of the animations. And if you include the orchestras, the choirs, and the voice actors, it's more like 60 people. I'm like, yeah, because that's why this game is being praised to high heavens. Right? The music is amazing, don't get me wrong. The voice acting is amazing, don't get me wrong. But they don't have more composers or voice actors than a Ubisoft or a AAA title. It's the developers that's just 30 people.
Imagine, one of those things where you score the goals and then somebody just going like this. Move this. Move it over here. We're going to move this post all the way over here. See, there you go. Yeah. There you go. It's
you didn't score anything.
Here, the moving of the goalposts is insane.
It really is, because even at 60 developers, which it isn't, by the way, because voice actors and composers aren't developers. They're voice actors and composers. Sure, they worked on the game, but even at 38 developers, if you want to include the 8 animators, That's still phenomenal for this game. Like,
Absolutely.
holy shit.
Look at the quality.
You compare that to any AAA title with their 400 developers, or compare it to AC Shadows with its over 3,000 developers that worked on it, and tell me that that's not insane.
It's just completely crazy to me, but this just kind of reinforces something that we have been saying in the podcast, which is one of the biggest potential areas of the gaming industry right now is actually the AA. And I hope that people see Clair Obscur, which is phenomenal, and you should definitely play it, and I highly recommend it. Like, even another thing that I wanted to say before we got a little bit sidetracked was just like, because I hadn't consumed too much media from Clair Obscur, I wanted to go in as blind as possible. When I jumped in on the game and I exited one of the levels and it gave me an overworld map, I was like, wait, what?
Oh,
there's an overworld map? What the fuck? What's going on? Like, I expected like a super linear experience, and then suddenly it's like, oh yeah, here's an overworld map. I was like, wait, what? Hey, wait, you can't do that. That's illegal. But
it's so amazing because it's an interactive world map. Like, usually games like this, not always, but games like this would usually have the world map, and you just click and you go to the next part, and you see sort of lines going to the next part. This is just interactive. You run in the world. It's so well done.
I mean, it's
because your character moves a little bit slower, and your characters are huge compared to everything else almost. So it just makes it so interactive, like, so much fun, and that's also where you camp. You camp on the world map.
Yeah, I know you're not super familiar with it, but this is like, at least for me, it feels like kind of a callback to Final Fantasy, because Final Fantasy does the same thing of this type of overworld.
That sort of, I mean, but apparently that's sort of been done away with. They don't really do much of that anymore.
No.
Although Final Fantasy definitely doesn't do that anymore.
Old Final Fantasy games, like, that's what I was talking about. But like I was saying, I definitely think that one of the biggest areas of potential for gaming industry moving forward is the AA space, and I think we're seeing that with Clair Obscur. And we've also seen that with Path of Exile 2, which is not real, like, full-on AAA. I mean, Baldur's Gate is getting, like, way bigger. I don't know how many people Larian Studios has, but yeah, Baldur's Gate is also very agile. Larian Studios.
Why I would still call them AA is they use all of their own money. Yeah. So they completely self-fund their products. But there was 350 people working on Baldur's Gate 3.
That's why I'm like, that it's a lot more. But like, then the other one that I really hope people eventually give a chance, because I feel like it never really got the love that it deserved, and it was my 2023 game of the year, Remnant 2. More people need to check out Remnant 2, okay? Trust me, you will not regret it. Like, pick it up on a sale or something, but do check out Remnant 2. That game is brutally underrated, and it is absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, Clair Obscur,
but I mean,
super easy recommendation.
I wouldn't just say, like, I would also include Palworld.
Yeah.
Another, not even AAA, AA, indie studio that came out of nowhere, Schedule 1. It's so clear that the secret source of the gaming industry lies within AA. AA and under. So your indie titles, excuse me, your indie titles and your AA titles are just so much better. And by the way, this is something we spoke about, and we'll speak about it a little bit more when we talk about Baldur's Gate. Although maybe we'll just, we can talk about both. It's fine. But Larian Studios just came out and said that they're working on 2 games at the same time now. And I think the reason they're doing that is because they have 350 people. So they probably split their development team, because technology is getting to the point now where studios that are willing to make use of the technology out there can do so much more with so much less. Like, these guys literally did mocap with a new kind of method that makes it 1,000,000 times cheaper to do mocap. So you can do motion capture at a fraction of the cost, because you do all of it yourself. Like, you literally have the face here with just like a mobile camera in front of it, like a mobile phone, and it captures everything, and you just paint over it, so you don't need all those very expensive headsets and the expensive motion cap domes and all the rest of it. The voice acting, they used literal AI technology that lip syncs everything to the words that's being said. So all of this is happening automatically. This is just something that AA studios can take advantage of that AAA studios for some reason don't.
They're using AI for matching animations, not for actual performances, right?
No. It's AI matches the animations to the performance, right? So there's still an actual person performing. It's just AI that then matches it.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because the people who might be saying, this is just how AI is going to kill the gaming industry. If you don't do it with AI, you would physically have one developer sit there and frame for frame match everything to every single word.
It's one of those things where I think we need to shift people into more creative endeavors where they can have a bigger difference. And then the more processes that can be automated, like we're talking about animation matching and all of that stuff, those can be made by AI, and then somebody can go over there and give it like a once over to make sure that everything is fine. But yeah, I do think that certain processes can be automated, but I still think that everything that is related to creativity needs to be in human hands, personally.
Oh yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to make a game with just AI. We've spoken about this before. I've seen some of the stuff, like I've asked ChatGPT before to write me a story. It's not good. The story lacks soul. There's no real connection to the story. That's because it's a language model. It just regurgitates bullshit that it reads somewhere else, but it doesn't understand why Tolkien is as phenomenal a writer as he is. Right? It doesn't understand that. It can only really regurgitate what it reads. Or what it sees online, and it doesn't understand what it sees. It just knows that it saw it. But in this Clair Obscur, you can see what the AI allowed them to do. Because instead of having 1 or 10 artists or animators physically sit there and painstakingly match every frame to every other frame, they were able to make a crap ton of side bosses, side content, actual puzzles and stuff, because that comes later, by the way. It's like actual jumping puzzles and stuff in the game. They were able to put so much effort into this game because they're a small team, they're targeted, they know exactly what they want to do, and you can see the love in this game. You can see that these developers love JRPGs.
Absolutely.
They love that genre. And I want to see more of that. This is why I'm a fan of AI integration into video game design. Because imagine if we have 10 Sandfall studios. And each of these studios are bringing out games like this. Games that they're in love with. And they love the genre. We'll be swimming in video games. And I think that's good. I think that's something that should be happening. Then let's switch up from Clair Obscur. And by the way, let us know in the comment section down below if you guys have actually played it. What are your thoughts? Love to hear from you guys. And then, of course, the Oblivion Remaster. You had an opportunity to play that too?
I played it. I basically bought both of them pretty much at the same time because Oblivion Remaster...
Oh, that's something I wanted to say. Sorry to interrupt you. But a part of the reason why 30 developer studios is so much better, $50.
Yeah. And it was like
buckaroos for this game.
It was discounted
45 or so.
Yeah. It was discounted during the first week and change or whatever it was. And now it's going to go up to 50 or whatever, which is a very good price point for the game that you're getting, from my personal opinion. If you like this kind of game.
It's a AAA game.
Yeah.
It's a AAA game. Quality-wise, it's a AAA game. And you're getting it for, back in the day, it might not have sounded that cheap. It's $10 less. But in the modern day, it's $20 less. And it's $30 less than Mario Kart World.
Oh, yeah.
So,
it's definitely... I think it's a very good pricing point, both for this as well as for the remaster of Oblivion. Now, we're going to start talking about Oblivion. So here's the thing with Oblivion. I played Oblivion back in the day, long time ago. Don't remember a damn thing about it. So when they announced it, I was like, oh, it's a Bethesda game. I don't know how I feel about that, but people were super excited about it. I was like, okay, maybe I'll check it out. So I bought both of these when they came out because it was during my break, and I just wanted like, okay, I'll buy both of these games and then I'll stream them a little bit to figure out which one I like the most and whatnot. And I jumped into Oblivion, and I was, because of the fact that I never got into Skyrim on account that I don't like Skyrim's combat. I think that it's just not particularly fun. I don't remember having too much fun with Skyrim's combat. So I jump into Oblivion and I'm like, this is going to go terrible. I'm not going to like it, but whatever. I play around with the settings and whatnot. And I'm going in on expert, which everybody is telling me it's broken. Don't play on expert. You're going to get your shit kicked in. And sure enough, I did, because I don't actually know how to play these games, because obviously people that play Oblivion, they probably know, oh, I know exactly which spell I need to get, how much mastery I need to have on this specific spell tree, and then this spell's going to lead everything. But me, I'm like, no. I want to pick up like a sword and board, and I want to just like beat somebody to death slowly. And that's been what I've been doing on Expert. It's a struggle, man. There was this one guy in a dungeon with a goddamn steel mace. He cleaned my clock probably like 10, 20 times, something like that. And I was like, don't you worry. Eventually you're going to mess up and I'm going to get you. And that's exactly what happened. I just stuck with it and eventually I killed him. So I've been playing on Expert. Yeah. It's really, really rough. I do hope that they do some type of balancing patch so that it's not quite as rough as it is right now. But if that's the way that it's going to be, I'm just going to eventually overpower it through sheer force of will. But I thought it was really cool because I got to make my own class, which I didn't even know you could do that.
I didn't know either.
So I created...
But I thought that was actually really cool.
Yeah.
And more games need to do that, where you can just literally create your own class out of nothing. Be like, yeah, this is what I am. I don't care. I'm a mage that wears a shield. What do you want to say?
Yeah.
I'm living my best life.
So I was I made like a class called the Ironbreaker, which has like restoration, heavy armor, blocking, and a couple of more things. So it's kind of like a paladin almost.
I made a warlock.
Yeah, but I was running around bashing things. No idea what I'm doing. And then I go into the stores and I start getting into this persuasion minigame with the NPCs. And I'm just like, oh, okay, so if I do it in this order, this counts more, this counts less. And I'm just like brutally haggling with these NPCs, trying to get the cheapest possible prices so that I can buy this one healing spell. And then the healing spell sucks. And I was like, oh, this is great. I'm so happy that I talked up this stupid NPC to buy this dumb spell that fucking doesn't work. People are telling me it's probably because you have heavy armor. And I was like, so I can't heal myself if I have heavy armor? This game is great. I love it. I went into a dungeon and I start, beating the crap out of everybody in the dungeon. Those dungeons are really fun. Like that's my jam. Like I get into a point in the dungeon where there's like this necromancer in there, and the necromancer is just like way too tough. But there's a bunch of traps along the way. So I was like, oh, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run past these traps. Why don't you come fight me? Just like, chonk, just gets like hit by a swinging pendulum. Just like dies. I was like, perfect. See guys, look at that. I figured it out. I don't have to kill him. I don't have to spend half an hour swinging my axe at him. I just swing the pendulum and now he's dead. This is perfect. So yeah, I've been having fun. It's obviously got some jank on it and whatnot. I've only put in like, I think 5 hours, give or take. But yeah, it's also, it's been fun. I want to play that some more for sure. How's your experience been with that? Because I think you played it as well, right?
Yeah, I played it on stream because it's also on Xbox Game Pass.
Oh yeah.
I'll put it this way. I'm about to buy Clair Obscur on Steam. I will not be buying Oblivion on Steam. But not because I don't like it, but because, well, Microsoft owns it. So I know it's never going off the Game Pass. And I also don't want to support Bethesda, even if Bethesda actually, this was when they were still good, but I still don't want to support them because screw Todd Howard. Like, I actually didn't want to play the game when I saw their introduction to the game go live, and it's literally Todd Howard sitting there. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? What did you do? Out with it. Tell me how you screwed this up. Like, I was just waiting to hear. We have actually this time 24 times the detail of some bullshit like that. But luckily he didn't say that, right? The game is good. I'm actually surprised at just how RPG heavy this game is. Considering its age, like, I can see why people like my brother got actually absolutely addicted to Oblivion. I can see why. Because, dude, there's not even many RPGs today that are as RPG as that game is.
You want to know what?
Just with the absolute freedom. Like, you can do literally whatever you want.
Like, you want to know what's one of my biggest complaints that I only realized near the end of the stream? Is that the whole fast travel network is unlocked from the get-go.
Yep.
I was like, wait, what the fuck? That's weird.
Yeah.
What shouldn't you have to like explore to go to places? I thought that was like a very strange decision to just have the whole thing unlocked from the get-go. But
I think you do kind of have to explore because the whole world map isn't available to you at the start. Like, you still have to
it's
get the fog, clear the fog of war.
You can,
but you can go to any of the cities.
Yeah.
Because
I was like, I want to go to the city because it's called Anvil. So I like that. I want to go to the city. And then I realized, wait, I can just teleport there? I mean, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk there. And then I'm basically only going to places that I've kind of walked to because that still keeps exploration interesting. But I thought it was a strange decision. But I guess this was like this in the base game as well.
It's but it is because my brother who played it a lot, he told me, "Can you quickly go to this city? I want to show you the graphics." And I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna run there. What the hell are you talking about? I am on the other side of the map. It's like the main city in the middle, and I'm on the side of the map. I'm like, I'm not running there. He's like, you can just teleport there. I'm like, I haven't been there yet. How would I fast travel? And he's like, just click and you go. I'm like, oh. I'm like, wait, was this always like it? And he's like, yeah, that's just how it is. And apparently it's sort of like a throwover because it's always been that way, even in Morrowind. The only difference is in Morrowind, if you fast traveled, your character would literally just move at like 400 times the speed. So it wouldn't be a loading screen. You'd just see your character like bolt in a direction to the other, like to wherever you wanted to fast travel.
Zoom, bitch!
Yeah.
It's almost
because
like...
they couldn't...
You remember the ZX Spectrum days and you could kind of like pause because you'd have the tape playing and you'd stop and it would load in like a strange part of the game. I think you can do something similar to that in Morrowind. You'll like do something and your character will just like be somewhere strange. But
I think
jank.
If I remember correctly, I heard someone say this on X. It's always been part of the Elder Scrolls sort of series that you can just fast travel wherever you want. And so this is just how it is. It didn't bother me too much, but I will admit I'm actually more of a fan of what like Dragon's Dogma did, where it's like you can fast travel, but it's gonna cost you. Like, we would rather you actually just be in the world. Like in real life, you can't just fast travel places. What are you talking about? Like, if in real life, if you want to fast travel, you have to pay for a plane ticket. So if you don't want to, so I kind of like when games force you to be in the world and to just experience the world in that way. But then I also will say, if you're going to force me to be in the world, you have to make the world experience good. Right? It has to be fun to actually explore. Oblivion's been fun so far to explore. I don't really feel like it's not like in Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? Or in the Assassin's Creed games where exploration is just tedious as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least here the explorations is cool because every single time you find something on the map, there's something cool happening there. Some kind of dungeon, although I will say the dungeons are mega annoying. Because once you're in the dungeon, unless you have clairvoyance, sometimes getting out of those dungeons is a bit of a... Yeah. But I forget that I have clairvoyance, and then I spend 10 minutes running around going, where the hell is the exit to this bloody thing? And then someone said to me, you hit map, and then you zoom in, and then you get the local map.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that would have been helpful 5 minutes ago. when I was actually still running around, not sure where the hell I'm going. Because again, if I hit M, I expect it to open in local, right?
No.
And then let me zoom out to world.
That would make too much sense. But I think one of the most surprising things to me is that you have literally one of the jankiest engines in existence, which is the creation engine. And then you slap one of the more annoying engines right now, which is Unreal Engine 5 that gives all types of problems, on top of creation engine. And somehow this thing works. I'm like, wow, that is actually, I'm impressed.
You take two bad things, you put it together, it makes a good thing.
Two negatives make a positive. Yes, it's a nice little math rule. Yeah, I guess it does work like that.
They figured it out. They figured it out, you know? Although they did break it as soon as they figured it out.
Oh, yeah.
Because about a day or two after the game came out on Xbox Game Pass, they released a little update, a tiny little one, that completely bricked all the RTX stuff.
I mean, it's not
like
surprising.
The DLSS, everything is just bricked.
Why does the game even force RTX on? It's so dumb. Like, what can we just like stop? Like, developers, listen, I don't know if you need to speak to somebody, like maybe see a therapist or something about whatever is the reason why you keep ham-fisting RTX into everything, but like, listen, we're here for you, okay? You can cry on our shoulder and you can tell us who is the big bad man. Like, I know that it's probably somebody who looks like the Hulk because they're going to be green. And the thing is, they're also full of money, right? Because it's going to be NVIDIA. It's going to be NVIDIA putting their big green dick in the middle of everything. And nobody wants to look at it, okay? NVIDIA, everybody's sick of your big green dick and you're waving it around. Nobody cares, all right? Just stop. Stop with the big green NVIDIA dick putting your RTX all over everybody's games. Like, nobody wants this, okay? Just stop,
it is,
please. For the love of God.
At this point, the AAA gaming space, not just the AAA gaming space, but looks like that Lily Phillips bedroom. Just NVIDIA semen everywhere.
I don't know.
That's that girl that ran through 1,000 guys in a single day.
Okay.
Or got ran through by 1,000 guys in a single day. And then the cameraman walks into the room and literally wants to start puking at the smell. Because you can imagine how that shit smells, right? This is just NVIDIA. Dude, I'm sick and tired of it. Because at this point, I'm not even sure, like, it feels like maybe NVIDIA is paying these gaming companies to put RTX into it because it forces people who don't have RTX cards to upgrade to RTX cards.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this game and I'm going, so I've played with RTX on and off. Looks the same. Looks exactly the same. I'm sorry.
That's like 90% of video games. RTX is literally worthless. Does fuck all.
Does nothing except
eat frames.
Performance.
It eats frames. That's what it does. Like Pac-Man sitting in a corner going like gobble, gobble, gobble on all your fucking frames. That is what RTX is. It's disgusting.
I like DLSS, right? Because especially as a streamer with a single PC setup, DLSS does help.
Yes,
because it takes a lot of performance off of your machine. So DLSS on some games makes sense. On FPS, why are you even adding this to your game? But on some games, it does make sense. RTX, as far as I'm concerned, is literally just a gimmick.
It's garbage.
It is just a gimmick, and it's like everyone bought into. At least when VR came out, most of the gaming industry went, never mind. It is a gimmick. We're not going to buy into it. But RTX comes out, and the whole gaming industry is like, oh, NVIDIA, what did you say? I'm already on my knees smiling like a donut.
Let me cradle your balls, NVIDIA. We'll cradle the balls.
Yes. They're literally sitting on their knees going, just waiting for NVIDIA to have their way with him. It's like, can we just not? This is an old game. It's a remaster of an old game. And we don't need to have RTX in this bullshit.
And let me say something, which is HDR is a million times better than RTX. I know it's it's one of those very controversial takes, but HDR a million times more meaningful than RTX. And guess what? There's no performance cost. Amazing, Revolutionary technology. But, it is
I just found out the other day my monitor actually has HDR. Never
But you can't stream with it because it's going to give you problems.
No, I don't even have HDR on because I don't care. My games look good enough as it is. I don't care about,
Dude.
Look at the I know HDR doesn't do this, but with RTX, I don't care that the light is coming through the leaves at the realistic angles. Who gives a shit? What am I hitting? And when am I getting my gear? I don't care about this bullshit. Like, I'm going to see that tree once and then I'm going to go kill some stuff. I don't care about any of this.
The God rays.
Oh, man.
My God rays.
I get
realistic
so annoyed because
God rays.
Oh, bro, it annoys me so much because it makes games look shiny.
Yes.
I don't understand why do I want to play a shiny ass looking game. Just make the game, bro. Shut the hell up.
For my miniatures, I bought matte varnish because I don't want them to be shiny.
Yeah, you don't want RTX minis.
Exactly. I don't want my minis to have RTX.
You'll turn the RTX on with like a flashlight.
Yeah,
RTX
exactly.
on RTX.
My friend has LED lighting on his terrain. That's our RTX right there.
Oh, sorry guys, we're ranting because this, as you can tell, me and Rurikhan disagree on a lot of things.
But RTX,
we absolutely agree on RTX sucking.
Yeah.
Like, this is a big project of mine. I'm willing to go to war in order to get RTX out of the gaming industry because I'm sick of it. Especially when you look at the insane prices of the 50 series and you just go, how long before a 5080 becomes recommended? Because you know it's coming. Like, you know it's coming. 5080 recommended. You're just like, bro, I'm not that disgusting. Rich. I'm not that rich. Like, please stop doing this. But all right, so Oblivion Remaster is pretty good. I've really had some fun with it. But it is sort of one of those games that you almost need to play it when you're on holiday.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can tell this is a long-ass game. This one isn't going to get finished in like a day or two, especially if you want to do everything. If you want to do everything, you're going to have to spend some time. And I will say the exact same about Clair Obscur. If you want to just rush through this game, don't waste your time. This is the kind of game where you have to...
You have to savor it, yeah.
Yeah, put in the effort and it'll be worth it, I promise you. So let's quickly talk about the last patch for Baldur's Gate 3. I think this is a big day. Just to sort of... I just want to run people through this so that they understand what has happened now. There's a couple of things here. First, Larian Studios were the good guys, but all of these patches weren't just because they were the good guys. You see, Larian Studios is a studio that actually likes making video games. And so the reason all of us were getting all of these insane patches for Baldur's Gate 3 was actually because while Larian Studios was plotting the next titles of their studio, they had 350 developers that had nothing to do because you don't need all of the developers part of the plotting. And so they just told them, go make stuff. Just go have fun with it. The fact that that's now done tells us that Larian Studios is about to ramp up development on their next titles. So now you can talk about the patch.
So the patch is going to bring in a bunch of new subclasses. So it's just straight up new content. There's like new romance content. There's
so many subclasses now. Like, holy crap, there's so many subclasses.
I mean, these are subclasses that I think existed in D&D, but it's just like they're bringing those into the game, which is going to be really fun for people to really get immersed and play whatever subclass they happen to enjoy the most, multi-class, do all these crazy things. So that is going to be interesting because I've been waiting for a long time. The problem is that there's so many games out right now, right? We got Oblivion.
Yep.
We got Clair Obscur. I got some Monster Hunter stuff happening. There's Path of Exile 2. There's Doom Dark Ages coming up. There's just like a ton of games. And the thing is, I've been waiting for the final patch of Baldur's Gate 3 because, like I've mentioned plenty of times, I love the first act of Baldur's Gate. I like the second act of Baldur's Gate. But the ending of the second act and some parts of the third act, I'm not the biggest fan of.
Yeah.
Kind of like some of the decisions that I felt railroaded into. A lot of people disagree with me, which is fine, but that's just kind of like...
The third act I wonder if you feel the same way that I do. The third act genuinely almost feels like it's made by a completely different team. Like it just feels so different to the rest of the game. And I don't mean necessarily in a bad way, just it's such a very quick change of pace.
Yeah.
Where you get into the third act, you're like, wait, what the hell just happened? Am I still playing Baldur's Gate, or did I get into a new game here?
Yeah,
it's very awkward.
It's weird, and also because I played very early, like I ran into so many different bugs in the third act of Baldur's Gate. So it's a good thing that they're fixing all that, because I wanted to do another run of Baldur's Gate because I had like plans for 3-4 different characters, because the character creator and the possibilities of what you can do with Dungeons and Dragons characters is just like so expansive. That the moment I started playing, I'm like, I know I want to play a bard for my first playthrough, go full charisma, style on people with my loot. It's going to be hilarious. And that's exactly what I did. But shortly after I started that, I was like, oh, I want to do a Troll Slayer playthrough, which is going to be like a barbarian, dual-wielding dwarf. I want to do an Ironbreaker playthrough, which is probably going to be like a cleric dwarf or something like that with heavy armor. So I have like all these ideas of what I want to do, but I was like, but I want to wait until they polish this up some more. And I want to do like a Dark Urge playthrough. I want to do all of these crazy things. But I've been waiting for them to finish the game, because I'm like, okay, I'll wait until all of this is ready. And they finally finished it, but now I'm like friggin' flooded with all the video games under the sun right now. I can't even turn around and play all the games that I want to play. But I want to see if at some point this year I can jump back into Baldur's Gate 3 and do another playthrough, because it was just so much fun. Except this time I want to do Intimidation, Barbarian Dwarf with Dark Urge, and I want to actually succumb to the Dark Urge. I want to see all of the crazy dark shit that you can do. I
still want to do a Dark Urge playthrough as well. But I have a Monk playthrough that I'm sitting on. I have my Warlock that's in Act 3 that I still have to finish. So yeah, I'm also super, and I want to do a multiplayer playthrough at some point, because people have told me the multiplayer aspect of the game makes it a completely different experience.
Oh yeah, I played Divinity Original Sin with 3 friends. We went through the whole game like that. That was hilarious. The shenanigans that we got into was just so incredibly good.
Yeah, so I genuinely want to do that. I really want to put together like a team and just go play, like even if it's just on the weekends, go play some Baldur's Gate 3 in like a unit of people, just to have a good time. You could probably even stream that. I imagine viewers would find it hilarious to watch 4 dudes just each do their own thing and maybe start a crazy amount of fights along the way, because why not? You know, everyone played Dark Urge and you just see everything murdered everywhere.
That sounds like a whole ton of fun.
Yeah. I think, just again, hats off to Larian Studios. We already spoke about them a couple of times throughout the podcast, but just more evidence that when it comes to passion, when you have passion, when you have love for what you do things like Baldur's Gate 3. You do things like Clair Obscur. I'm looking at Baldur's Gate 3 right now on the Steam charts, and there are currently playing 94,000 people. Dude, this game is old now.
2-year-old single-player game, right? I think. Something like that.
Yeah, and its 24-hour peak was 102,000 people. So this game is still raking in players. I guarantee you it's still selling a shit ton of copies, because people see this and they go, wait, I want to try this out. Why is everyone having so much fun in this game? Clair Obscur, I think, is going to be very similar to Baldur's Gate. It obviously not quite as big, because D&D is a very, very big IP, but I think Clair Obscur is also going to be around for a long time, because if you get into the game, you'll understand there's a lot of replayability. Like, the replayability of the game isn't nothing. Although I would be interested to know what if they were to do a multiplayer, because that could also be quite cool, a multiplayer Clair Obscur kind of experience. And
that's another thing that I think Baldur's Gate 3 is adding crossplay with this latest patch as well.
Yeah. So you can do it with all of your friends now, which
regardless of platform. Yep.
Yeah, which is, I think, amazing. And And then you have, of course, Sven
The
Vinker.
Giga Chad.
Dude, this guy just
Protect this
he
man at
cannot
all
say
costs.
anything wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, make this man president of the video game industry have already. They have sought this shit out because clearly he understands how to make. Yeah, he understands what players want and how to make good games. But he just recently, once more, had a massive, massive W where he backed mods. Can you tell us about this?
So basically, there's a mod for what's the name of that life sim game? Yeah, Stardew Valley. There's a mod for Baldur's Gate 3 and Stardew Valley or something along those lines. Or is it the other way around? I don't even remember exactly what it is. But obviously, Wizards of the Coast goes in becoming like assholes and getting rid of it and whatnot. And Sven Vinke comes in and says like, no, you shouldn't do that. Like, you should let people, do things to your game because like if they own your game, they're going to work to making that game more popular. Basically defending modders, doing stuff with their games. And I think that is actually really, really cool because this is just like word of mouth. This is free word of mouth. Now, obviously there's copyright laws and stuff like that. And if you're not protecting your copyright, then it can be argued that, okay, then you don't own this copyright, whatever. But it's like you can just give people a license.
Yeah. You can just
do this. So
it is Stardew Valley mod, right? So it's Baldur's Village Stardew Valley mod. And this is what Vinke had to say. Exactly this. As a company that owns IP, it's perfectly possible to give somebody a license. So you could just say, hey, I think what you're doing is really cool. Here's a license. And that solves it. I think that's what was done in this case. So that's the easiest way of dealing with it.
There you go.
Bro.
Boom, done.
And what a lot of game companies, because there will be a lot of game companies that want to shut this kind of stuff down, but what a lot of game companies don't seem to understand is this is free advertisement for your game.
Yes.
Because people are going to play Stardew Valley. They're going to download this mod. They're going to be like, this is so cool. Where does this come from? Baldur's Gate. Let me go check it out. This is sort of, and now we're going off the deep end again. This has been my issue with the music industry for the last decade. The easiest advertisement for the music industry ever would be to allow streamers to play their music on stream. No one is going to a stream to listen to music. They're listening to the streamer. But back in the wild, wild west days of Twitch, where people could just play any music, there would be so many times that I would watch Asmongold or some streamer and a song would come up and I'd be like, whoa, this is a cool song. What song is this? And then you'd look at the service that tells you what song is playing, and then I would go download that song because it's a cool song. So it's free as well. You're advertising for free to millions of people. But no, the music industry like, no, you have to buy a license if you want to play our music.
Yep.
And then the license is like $100,000 per song.
And the funny thing is, like, how they do that for gaming shows and stuff like that. And so I'll be co-streaming a gaming show, and then they'll have some copyrighted music in the trailer and whatnot. And the first thing that I do whenever the show is over is I go to YouTube and I'll be like, mute that music, and YouTube just mutes it, and now it's just blank. And now your music is just literally deleted from all of my videos. It's fucking gone. Nobody knows what the music was. Nobody will ever hear it in my videos. That was the solution you guys came up with. Good job. Good job.
But there is one thing about YouTube live streaming that really annoys me. This happened the other day where we were watching a presentation and there were some copyright stuff in the presentation. And suddenly I see all of my YouTube viewers go, dude, what happened? Why is the stream down?
Real time.
It just
blocking.
Makes it black. It just blacks the entire stream out.
When I had that happen, it was Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. In the opening cutscene, there's a scene with like the King of Hyrule or whatever, and you're talking to him. And during that cutscene, in real time, everybody in my stream starts going like, "Oh, what the hell? Stream F." And I was like, "What's going on?" I go watch the stream, and it's just like black. This content is copyrighted by Nintendo. I was like, "What the fuck, bro? I got a review key from Nintendo. What do you mean?"
Dude, it is
I
disgusting.
literally have a review key from Nintendo. I have permission. It was so weird, dude. It was the weirdest thing. But yeah,
I think Sven Vinke is just one of those guys, and this is something that a lot of the gaming industry completely forgot, and it is buying goodwill. Like, yes, money is great, and money in your pocket is good, but goodwill from gamers, you can't put a price on that. Because here's what I will guarantee.
Blizzard used to have that. Blizzard used to have that by the bucket load. Now they have nothing.
Oh, yeah.
They have like they're due. They have to pay.
Owe people. They owe people goodwill.
And they owe a lot. Like you're talking like in the billions range when it comes to the goodwill they owe people.
Dude,
at
it's
this
unpayable.
point.
It's unpayable.
Yeah, you can't pay it back. It's over.
No. But I can guarantee you guys this. When the next Larian Studios game comes out, I will buy it. No questions asked. Don't even need to show me a trailer. Just put it up for pre-order and I click buy. Why? Because I trust that they will make a good game. No matter what, I trust that it will be a good game. Because I trust them. And that's how you build a brand that effectively will last. You do what's good for gamers. And they will reward you. They absolutely will. Speaking of what's good for gamers, you had some Monster Hunter Wilds news for us.
I do. So Monster Hunter Wilds has gotten the Blossom Dance Festival, which this was also during my break. So I actually ended my break one day after the festival went live, which brought with it a bunch of new events for people to go do, which is always fun. They have like this whole thing where they change the look of the Grand Hub and it looks completely different. It's got like sakura trees and all of that good stuff in there. There's like new bowling stuff that is happening and new animations. And they also unlock a bunch of new equipment for you. So that's been a ton of fun going through and doing all those events and just enjoying that. And then last night, they've added something much more challenging, which is Arch-Tempered Ray Dow, which is like one of the existing monsters gets buffed up to like extreme levels. Mm-hmm. And the gimmick this time around is that usually when Ray Dow is on his nest, he has these attacks that he does, and after each attack, it'll follow up with lightning because he's stronger when he's on his nest. But then when he leaves his nest, he no longer has this. Well, Arch-Tempered Ray Dow has this all the time. So every time that he does an attack, there's a follow-up of lightning, and that makes the fight a lot more hectic and crazy hard. So that was really, really cool to do that, even if that is the reason why I stayed up until like 3 a.m. last night, and then I only slept 3 hours. But, you know, it is what it is. That was fun. Yeah, I enjoy that.
Fun times.
So
all right,
lots of new content for Monster Hunter. What?
I'm asking the viewers if they're playing Monster Hunter Wilds with Rurikhan or if they're sort of playing Clair Obscur, because I think if you're a gamer, thus far in 2025, we're eating good.
We're eating very good. Things have been absolutely phenomenal.
There's a buffet happening, and it is eat as much as you can. Like it is like for the first time in a long time, I'm looking at my game library and I'm going, I don't know what to play. But not because I don't know what to play. I don't know what I want to play first.
Yeah,
I'm just causing. I should be. I kind of want to play this, but I also want to play this. It's insane. It's so cool to be in this position. I'm gonna skip over the next topic because I want to talk about something that we were supposed to talk about, but we forgot because I didn't move it up in the list.
Okay.
We're going back, ladies and gentlemen, sort of backtracking a little to Oblivion. And I need to share with you.
There's a very intelligent gentleman that has a hot take.
Yeah. For now, we will call this segment of the podcast from now on into forever, Dumbass of the Year Award. Okay. And right now, that position is completely and utterly owned by my man, Mike Ybarra.
I swear to God, every time this motherfucker opens his mouth in social media, just like a pile of shit comes out. Like I was, bro. You were kind of like the chosen one over at Blizzard. Like you were running Mythic Plus and doing your thing, bro. Like you used to be a gamer or something, I thought. Turns out you're just a fucking idiot.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know, Mike Ybarra, like literally a couple of days before Oblivion Remaster comes out, tweets out that Oblivion Remaster is a mistake. That he's against remasters of 20-year-old games because there's no way that that game can hold up to Elden Ring. I'm reading that.
My man put out Warcraft 3 Reforged. My man put out Diablo 2 Remastered. My man now comes out and goes like, fuck remasters, they suck because they can't live up to Elden Ring.
But not just do they suck, they can't hold up to a game that is completely different to the game. His tweet would have been as absurd if he said they can't hold up to FIFA 2024. I wouldn't expect it to. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? Elden Ring, Oblivion? How is this the same game?
Imagine,
what are you even referring to?
Imagine somebody going like, ooh, Clair Obscur coming out? That's a bad idea. Like, coming out so close to an event in Monster Hunter? Ooh, that's a bad... It's like, bro, what the fuck do you mean? What's wrong with you? Does your fucking head work? God damn.
It's just such a moronic take. I mean, of course, Oblivion Remaster does very, very well. It actually does super, super well. So this man, the fact that he was the president of Blizzard Entertainment should make you ask questions of the people at Blizzard Entertainment. Like, how did this man get that position? Because he hasn't had a good take in the gaming. He was one of the people. What did he say? He made a tweet and then he deleted the tweet.
I'll tell you what he said. He said they'll have to drag me out of Blizzard 2 weeks before you left.
Yeah, but that was another one of his moronic takes. But no, he made a tweet about a game that was coming out.
And I remember that. I don't remember exactly
everyone
what
just
the game was,
clowned on him.
I remember quote tweeting that because it was so fundamentally fucking stupid. I think it was complaining something about a game's UI or whatever. And I was just like, yeah, bro, because it doesn't have like 50 different add-ons to fucking guide you to do whatever the fuck it is that you wanted to do.
I just remember it was some weirdly stupid take, and I was just like, well, man. And then he deleted the take because everyone clowned on him for his take. This guy just, like, if this is where a good take is, this man is taking detours around China to miss that bloody take. Like, not even by accident will he hit the good take. Ever. So I just wanted to bring that up. And then as a final topic, and this is going to be really quick, but it's not quite gaming related, but it's gaming related enough that I feel like we should at least talk about it. And that is, did you hear that Discord is going public?
I heard that, who was it? It was somebody from Activision that was going to be taking over Discord. I haven't heard about it going public. I've heard that the CEO stepped down, right? And then somebody from Activision's going in there.
Yeah, it's a guy that used to be an executive at Activision that's now taking over Discord because Discord is seeking an IPO. So they want to go public. Nice. Now, for those of you that might be thinking, what's the big deal? Once a company goes from being a private company to an IPO, their priorities shift entirely. The priority now becomes the shareholder. And shareholders want more profits. So there's a couple of things that will almost certainly happen here. First, your data is going to be sold to everyone.
Oh, absolutely.
They're not even going to, nothing will be sacred. I highly expect that payment plans will be coming in, and they'll specifically try and target large Discord operators. So maybe like the first 2,000 members of a Discord server is free, but then from there you have to pay like $5 or $10 a month for, say, 3,000 cap, and then 10,000 cap, and so on and so forth. Because it will now all be about making as much money as possible because the shareholders want to see line up. Which is going to destroy Discord. Because even me, not even that big of a content creator, have a Discord channel with over 2,000 people. So if the cap is on, like, say, 1,000 people max, I'm going to have to pay to keep my Discord open. But I don't make money off of Discord. Like, Discord is not a business for me. It's just a place where my community hangs out. So it's sort of like, is it even worth keeping that thing? And I sort of feel like I'm going to go back in time because I found out the other day, TeamSpeak still exists.
Hells yeah. Time to go back to TeamSpeak. How about Ventrilo, bro? Let's go to Ventrilo.
Vent or Mumble. We can go to Mumble if we
Mumble.
want.
I almost forgot about Mumble, yeah.
But TeamSpeak still exists, and actually, TeamSpeak looks exactly like Discord.
That's probably what's going to happen.
They completely overhauled, and I think what's going to happen is these guys are going to destroy Discord. It won't happen immediately.
Yeah,
and people are just going to move over to TeamSpeak, because TeamSpeak has been trying hard. You go onto their Twitter, and they're desperate to try and get people to realize that there's still an option. They're retweeting stuff. They're trying to be as funny as possible. They're very much doing the Opera, what the Opera browser does.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing something similar to that. It's sad because Discord was actually such a good product. But I've already started to see things change in Discord where every once in a while I'll log in and I'll get like a Nitro sales pitch.
Yeah.
Where I could get Nitro for this, and it's so annoying. It's like, dude, if I wanted Nitro, I would get Nitro.
Like, Discord used to be very clean, and now it feels much dirtier. It's got like, even just doing these calls, like when we hang up, there's going to be something, so we're like, oh, by the way, if you buy this,
did you see
Nitro, whatever, this call is going to be so much better. You have no idea the quality, blah, blah, blah. You start like live streaming something to somebody because that's something that you can do in Discord as well. They're like, you could get better quality for Nitro. And it's like, Jesus Christ, it's just everywhere now. It's weird, bro.
That's probably going to happen. You and I doing this will have to pay for Discord in order to do it. Because they're not, why are they going to keep this around? It's really, really annoying. And you guys have to be aware that this is coming. It's going to happen. Because, EA executive.
Oh, wait, so it's not Activision, it's EA.
Activision, sorry.
That's Activision, okay.
Same company, basically, right? In terms of greed, it's the same.
It's the same thing, scumbags.
But the Activision executive, now the CEO of Discord, what is Activision famous for, kids?
Monetization.
Pleasing their customers.
Just wait, just wait until you get the Discord token. It's gonna be so good.
Oh, bro, I can already see it.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Governor. This is your 51st message for the day. In order to send this message, it'll be 50 cents, please. Or you can buy the deluxe edition, which will be $10 for unlimited messages up until 1,000. You're just gonna.
I can see it. Yeah.
You gotta see it.
Man, always does. It is what it is.
Yeah, because fundamentally they think people are just made of money and they can just pay. And look, I have nothing against if Discord wants to price some of their services, because I can imagine it's quite expensive to operate Discord. All of those servers have to be paid for. I just think fundamentally the issue isn't so much if you were to bring out a package where it's like $4.99 for the use of Discord and everything else is included in it. I think most people would gladly pay $5 for Discord. The issue is you and I both know that's not what it's going to be.
No.
It's going to be
like tiered and super complicated, and you're not going to understand what half of the tiers do, and you're going to be wondering, oh, did I get the right tier? Do I need to get another one because there's this other functionality, and then there's this functionality that lets you embed links. It's like, bro, we see.
Yeah, I mean, what usually happens is when they see that the $5 tier is way too popular, they start taking some of the popular functions and moving it into the higher tiers. So that if you wanted to do that really popular thing, you are forced to go into the higher tier.
Yep.
Because you're already paying the lower tier. It's not that much more for the higher tier. I'm rep Discord. Everyone needs to go back to TeamSpeak and let's see what happens there.
We'll see.
But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for our now Wednesday show.
My fault. I assume responsibility. My bad.
But you guys will be seeing this on Saturday. I won't be changing the launch day because that's going to make things confusing for the future. We really appreciate all of you. Those of you that watched until now, you're absolute champions. Like, just absolutely sublime. Please remember to hit that like, hit that dislike if you didn't like it. We will see.
You forgot something.
What
was
did I
the
forget?
result of the latest poll?
Oh shit! I forgot.
You can edit this and put it at the beginning, and nobody will be able to tell. It'll be gorgeous.
That's a lot of edits.
It's a lot of.
Oh shit! Hold up! I need to log into this account first.
Got him.
Because
I set up a trap. You've activated my trap card, accolonn. I've been sitting on this one for a while. I realized it about an hour into the show, and I was like, well, I'm not going to stop now. So I'll wait until the very end, and then I'll activate my trap card.
But okay, so our poll for the week, and I will probably edit this into the beginning. So if you're watching this now, please know that we did this at the end of the stream, but we're doing it at the beginning because we forgot to do it in the beginning, and we don't want to not have it in the beginning. So apologies for that. But our poll 2 weeks ago was: should hentai games be available on Steam?
I did not agree to this poll. What the fuck?
I asked it, and we had 410 votes on our poll.
People are invested in hentai.
Yeah. 65% of people said yes, it should be available. 21% said no, and 15% just said show results. I don't care. It's
bunch of gooners out here.
Yeah. You guys know my stance on it. I sort of don't understand why Steam would have it. Me and Rurikhan had a big debate on the last episode exactly because of this hentai stuff that's happening on Steam. But I respect the fact that most people want it on there. And so who am I to argue? It is what it is. But okay, ladies and gentlemen, with that though, I want to thank all of you for coming out, for hanging out with us, for spending your time with us. As always, hit the like if you liked, the dislike if you didn't. And we will see all of you in the next one. Peace.